I want to begin this quietly, not with instruction, not with advice, not with something you need to do, just with presence. If you are here right now listening to this, there's a reason. Maybe you're tired, maybe you're inspired, maybe you still love what you do, but something feels distant. So before anything else, take a deep breath with me. Let your body soften. Let the noise quiet down just a little. This is a lesson. It's a space to talk about what it really means to create and what happens when creativity starts to feel heavy. When was the last time you create something without thinking about the outcome? Know how it would perform, know how it would be received, know whether it would be worth it, just because it felt necessary. For a long time, I believed creativity was something you had to protect from disappearing, like a flame that could go out if you aren't careful. But I've learned something different. Creativity doesn't disappear, it withdraws. Before I go any further, I want to gently introduce myself. Hi, my name is Mariana. I'm a photographer and artist, originally from Brazil, and creativity has been part of my life for as long as I can remember. Not as a career at first, but as a way of understanding myself. I've always been observant, sensitive, someone who feels first and explains later. Creating became the place where I could exist without needing to justify who I was. And everything I'm sharing with you today comes from living inside the relationship with creativity, losing it, questioning it, and slowly learning how to listen in again. It gets quiet when we stop listening. I didn't start creating because I want to be seen. I started because I needed somewhere to put what I felt. I was always observant, sensitive, the kind of person who feels first and explains later. And creating became my language. It was a place where things didn't need to organize or justify it. They could simply exist. At the beginning, there was no pressure, no expectation, just curiosity, just instinct. A feeling of this makes sense to me. And for a long time, creating felt like a home. But when something you love slowly turns into something you rely on, the relationship changes. When creativity becomes tied to responsibility, validation, and survival, the joy quietly shifts it to obligation. That line replaces curiosity, metrics replace situation, comparison replace trust. Without realizing it, I stopped creating to feel and started to creating to prove. I measured my work by reaction, by responses, by whether it was enough. The very thing that once gave me freedom started to feel heavy. I was still creating, but I wasn't present, and burnout didn't arrive loudly. It didn't announce itself. It came in small waves. Avoiding the process, feeling disconnected from my work, scrolling instead of making, feeling guilty for not feeling inspired. There were moments when I questioned everything. Do I still love this? Was this ever truly mine? Or did I just build a life around something no longer I recognize? Creating creative silence is terrifying because when creativity goes quiet, it feels like losing a part of your identity. You started to wonder who you are without it. Eventually, life forced me to slow down, not in a dramatic way, in a quiet one, in a stillness. Something shift. I stopped trying to produce. I stopped trying to impress. I stopped trying to define myself through output. Instead, I started noticing again light changed throughout the days. Stillness, moment that didn't ask to be shared. I didn't rush to capture them. I just let them exist. The notice that was the beginning of my return when I came back to creating, it felt different, softer and slower. I wasn't asking if something would work, I was asking how it made me feel. I allowed imperfection, I allowed quiet, I allowed things to be unfinished. And something important happened. Creative stopped being about providing something and started being about processing something. I realized that creativity was never meant to save my career, it was meant to save my relationship with myself. Creating taught me that inspiration comes in seasons. The silence is not failure, the rest is part of the process. It taught me that art doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. Some of the most meaningful work I've ever created come from uncertainty, from waiting, from not knowing, and from grief. And that changed how I see everything. I still choose this creative path because it allows me to slow down. It feels deeply, to observe without rushing, to tell stories that don't need to explain it. It reminds me that I don't need to have something figured out to create something honest. Creativity matters where we are, and that's really where. And if you're listening right now and you feel disconnected, please hear me out. You're not broken. Your creativity isn't gone. It's just resting. You don't need to force it back. You just need to invite gently. Create without posting, making something no one sees. Sit with your ideas longer than feels comfortable. That's often where healing begins. One of the most intimate part of my creative process has always been editing, not as a technical step, but as a moment of listening. Editing is where I slow down, where I revisit what I felt, where I decide what stays and what lives. It's not about fixing, it's about translating. Over time, I realized that editing isn't about knowing the right settings, it's about intention. You can give the same raw material to 10 different artists and receive 10 completely different results. Because editing reveals how you see your patience, your sensitivity, your relationship with imperfection. That's why I don't believe editing should be taught as a formula. I believe it should be taught as a way of thinking, as a conversation between you and your work. Sometimes that conversation is quiet, sometimes uncomfortable, and sometimes it asks you to slow down, even when you want to rush. But it's honest. And honesty is what people feel when they connect with something real. If there's one thing that I hope to stay with you, it's this. You don't need to create more, you need to create deeper. Sit with your work longer, ask better questions, let the answer arrive slowly. That's where meaning lives. That's where meaning lives. Before we close, I want to share something with you. This entire philosophy, creating and editing with intention process, this entire philosophy, creating and editing with intention, presence, and honest, is the foundation of my online editing masterclasses. I didn't create it to teach people how to copy my work. I created to help creative reconnect with their own voices. Inside of the masterclass, I walk through how I approach decisions, how I think about light, balance, and strength, and especially emotion, and how to build confidence in your own creative choices. If editing has started to feel mechanical or disconnected or empty, this was created with you in mind. You will find the link in the video description. And before you go, if this conversation resonates with you, I would love you to stay here. You can subscribe to the channel so we can continue having slow, honest conversation about creativity and art. If this episode spoke to you, liking the video helps it reach someone who might need it today. If you feel comfortable, leave a comment and tell me where you are in your creative journey. Thank you for being here, for listening slowly, for choosing depth over speed. I'll see you in the next one. Love you all.